everyone, it's Karen Visser here from BioLink Attention Training. I am the co-founder and CEO of the company, and I'm really very excited that you registered to watch this short presentation all about cognitive skills and how important and crucial that is for your child's academic performance. We talk about brain skills because if we talk about cognitive skills, not a lot of people really understand what it means. So if we talk about brain skills, it makes a little bit more sense, but it's all the different skill sets. It's the core skill set that your brain needs to go and learn something new, to read, to write. So it's the foundational phase of everything that happens. So I've got a little diagram here that I want to show you. Is that if we look at this tree illustration, if we look at the top branches, I mean, this is where we want to be. This is where we want our children to be. So we want them to be able to sit still, listen, pay attention, not fidget, learn, participate with the teacher, things like that. And now they don't just get born being able to do this. It's skills, and skills need to be developed. So if you go a little bit down over here, you will hear at BioLink we talk a lot about cognitive skills and executive functioning skills, because those are the two main areas that helps you be successful in life. So you have to start at the foundation. So if we look at where we want to be, these executive functioning skills are core and very important for us to reach that goal. But to get there, we have to start here at the roots. We need to go back to the primary areas where and I'll give you some examples just now. But this is the core brain skills that your child needs to be successful. Going forward, when they go to grade 1 and they have to learn and they have to read, going up into the higher standards. Sometimes these children really struggle, and it's not only just attention, there's other core skills that lacks, and then in the end the child thinks there's something wrong with him. But if we can just get to that skills that needs altering, we change everything. So on this side you can see the tree. If there's some of these core skills not developed, it does have an impact on your child going forward. So let's look to a little bit in detail. So if I talk about attention, there's actually 3 types of attention. So if a teacher tells you your child has got an attention problem, ask her which one of the 3. I'm just joking. There's different attentions. So if we talk about sustained attention, it enables you to stay focused on a task for a sustained period of time. So it's one task that you are going to finish. So if these skills are weak, that's when you see children jumping from one task to another and they never complete it. Okay? If we look at selective attention, that is when I'm still paying attention, but now I'm hearing other things going on around me. Maybe a friend sitting next to me sharpening a pencil, or the lawnmower going outside. So I hear it, but I can still focus. Now, if this skill is weak, they really get easily distracted. They will look at everything because they hear and see everything. Okay? The next one is your divided attention, and this is one that I know us women can all do very well, and that's multitasking. Okay, so it enables us to remember information while we're doing 2 things at a time. And here is a very good example, is specifically in school, when the teacher will give homework and not write it down. She will speak the words, and they need to listen to what the teacher is saying and write it down. And sometimes they do struggle with that. Okay, if we look at long-term memory and short-term memory, I'm going to handle them together. So short-term, it's going to come in and you're going to have it just for a few seconds, a few minutes, and then it's gone. But the more you practice it, in the end, you will start remembering things. So that's why we can remember songs that we've learned when we were still in school. But if short-term memory is also weak, they struggle to remember things like names and birthdays and things like that. Working memory. Working memory is so important. I'm going to give you an example, because if I talk about working memory, no one really knows what it means. So working memory is like a sticky note in your head. So Information comes in, you have to hold on to it, manipulate it sometimes, and then use all the other things coming in and solve a problem. So let me give you an example of working memory, especially with little ones. So if the teacher stands in front of the classroom and she says, okay, we're going to do a calculation. It's 6 plus 3 plus 4. So information comes in through the ears. They now take 6 plus 3, it's 9. So they have to use their brain to get to the answer. Then hold on to it, okay? And then plus 4, okay? And then finish the calculation. And then sometimes they really struggle with that because it's too many things coming in at the same time. Okay, so sometimes here also they will get lost when you give them too many things to do. And I'm going to get back to that one because there's an important skill that really helps with working memory. Let's look at logic and reasoning. This gives a child the ability to solve a problem. And this is something that I can tell you as a parent as well. You know, sometimes we live in a day and age where everything is, we run against time all the time. So sometimes you will get to a problem with homework, and then instead of helping and guiding your child to solve the problem, we give them the answer. And I know I'm talking about myself because we are always in a hurry. So when a challenge is there, rather lead them. Don't give them the answer, but lead them. Ask other questions, for instance, to get to the answer so that they can solve that problem. Okay, and this is something that I can tell you today in 2022 is a big challenge with our high school learners. They really struggle. They cannot solve problems on their own. Auditory processing, it enables you when the information comes in to blend segment sounds, and auditory processing is essential for learning to read, reading fluency, and reading comprehension. And as you will know, is that we do have a specific program where we address listening and comprehension. I'll get back to that. Okay. Then also visual processing. And this one is key, especially in the foundation phase going to grade 4. A lot of times they do not understand. They will read a word, okay, and then they can't in their head know what that word looks like. They can't imagine. They can't imagine how that word looks like and where they will be able to use it, okay? So it enables you to think in visual images. So again, you will understand why this is so important for reading and then for comprehension. And when I have to retell what I've listened to, it's very important, okay? So sometimes they will read, and then if you ask them what did they read, they can't help you. They can't tell you what that was. Again, also, and I'll get to our program, this is things that we specifically addressed in our program. Processing speed, oh my gosh, this is one that I can tell you after conducting about 18,000 focus assessments, especially in the foundation phase, and especially in high school students also, we find that processing speed is really a big challenge. So that means not the child is slow, information coming in, and now the brain needs some time to process what they need to do. And if they struggle with processing speed, it hinders them to complete tasks in time. They will always be last in the class to finish tasks. And sometimes this lack of this skill looks like attention, but there's a big difference. If you would like more information on how we identify the different skill sets, where the ones that are weakest, we have got a focus assessment, and I will link a small ebook. You can just go to the right hand side and download our focus ebook, where you can look at the different things that we measure and also the behavior that goes along with it. Okay. So processing speed is very important. Remember what I said when I talked about working memory? Processing speed, how fast information comes in, and then the brain is going to use that. Those two work together. So if sometimes when children struggle with working memory, the primary problem is their processing speed. Okay, so let's look at an example, because when I talk about this, it sounds like, okay, let me give you a stupid, plain example. So, the task is to spell the capital of Spain backwards. So that's Madrid, right? So let's look what happens. So the teacher says that she stands in front of the classroom, or you do a spelling test with your child, or you go through that, spelling words or whatever. Number one, they need to pay attention, cognitive skill. They need to remember the instruction, right? Working memory. They need to recall what the capital of Spain is. So they need to somewhere have learned that Madrid is the capital of Spain. Then they have to decide how they're going to solve the problem. So because now I have to do it backwards, okay? And then they're going to sound the syllabus, auditory process, and picture the name, see the name, and read it backwards, visual processing. So can you see how essential it is that we use these basic skills in each and every task? And this is with a simple example of spelling a word backwards. Okay, so let me just go up here. So if just one of these skills aren't working efficiently, doing mental tasks would be harder. And I think you will see this through this example. So no matter how many times you are taught or tutored, because this brings me to the next thing. There's a very big difference between tutoring, okay, and cognitive skills. Okay, this is why we aim to strengthen all the cognitive skills with our customized one-on-one training. Okay, it's fundamental that these skills are formed, because look at this. So tutoring means I'm going to provide you information and we're going to do it over and over. Okay, where cognitive training is going to strengthen those skills that I just illustrated. We're going to strengthen those skills so that the brain can use that and grasp that information. So it is very, very important that these core cognitive skills get enhanced and built very strong. And this is the basis of our BioLink Attention Training Program. Our brain-enabled cognitive skills address everything that I talked about now. And remember, it's brain-enabled, so the exercises won't work if the children are not actively engaged. I have another webinar. I'm going to put the link in the box where you can go and watch, where I explain how our technology is going to help your children to develop these cognitive skills. Because what you can do is you can download Luminosity on your phone and start doing cognitive skills, but that's not the same. So the core function of this webinar is so that you can understand how important cognitive skills, and starting at that foundational phase, you have to start there and then build from there. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've got any questions, you in the chat box, you can send your question. Doesn't matter what you want to ask me. At the end of this recording, I will receive an email with your email address and your question. So if there's anything that you would like to ask, I can tend to you in that way. And also remember to go download all the ebooks that I suggested and go to our YouTube channel. The link is in the chat box as well. Okay guys, you must have a great day. Bye.